welcome into a Tuesday edition. Last night, no podcast. Tonight, we got a podcast, and Will Rooney is somewhere at a hidden bunker. And after some of the messages I got yesterday from some lady, I don't know, you might be smart to be in the bunker.
We might have to play that on the New Mexico version just because.
Yeah, I will. Isn't it amazing somebody that calls you a redneck, honky, hillbilly, skinhead,
Gringo.
I'm trying to think. Oh, and Gringo has the nerve to call me a racist.
I know. It's like, hello, hypocrisy.
Yeah, it was funny. It was definitely funny. We got a lot of things going on tonight that we're going to talk about on Two Bald Guys on the Right. Don't forget Thursday edition of the New Mexico. We'll be talking about pot legalization, and we've got a lot of things to discuss. One new candidate for governor of New Mexico. So we'll get to that on the Thursday edition of Two Bald Guys on the Right, New Mexico edition. It's amazing that we still have the same problem going on at the border. You would think that something would be done by now. Instead, we just keep throwing money at it. And we are spending a buku amount of money. And Joe Biden, he just doesn't get it. That even the president of Mexico had said, "Hey, pendejo, if you quit inviting these people over to your house, they would quit coming."
Right?
Because we all know that if you invite people to your house, especially if you got a barbecue going on and you got free beer, I'm just saying they're coming. And,
that's it. We're gonna give you EBT cards. We're gonna give you free health insurance. We're gonna give you free housing. Come on in. Why would they stop? Why would they stop?
One of the best memes out there that I posted up, and you can go check it out on our morning show Facebook page, Be on the Breakfast Club, and it was a picture of a Holiday Inn. It said where illegals stay.
Mm.
And then there was a homeless veteran living on the street where a veteran stay. And if you put that in context, look, I understand it's a meme, but if you put that in context, it's pretty damn sad because we treat foreigners better than we actually treat our own men and women that gave blood for this country. Sad.
Couldn't agree more.
We got 14 million American kids that are homeless. Why aren't we taking care of them? We're doing zero for them. But instead, we're taking in every damn country in the world's kids, and we'll take care of them before. But what is going on? 16 congressmen and senators went down to the border this weekend. Ted Cruz led the coalition. You know what I thought was amazing? That Lisa Murkowski from Maine, who was always on the fence, am I going to be a Republican? Am I going to be a Democrat? How am I going to vote? She was actually down there, and she said that the cartel, the coyotes, were actually taunting them on this side of the border. But Ted Cruz went there. Here's what he had to say about the conditions in the border. I mean, this is probably the first that a senator goes down there and does an expose of it on his own, serious. And then we live in a different world than it used to be. But I think it got some traction, even though some of the liberals made fun of him. Here's what he had to say.
Detention facilities that are overrun, many of them with families, small children. We saw multiple mothers who were nursing infant babies who had just crossed over and were being housed in outdoor holding pens where they were sleeping on the floor and nursing their babies. We're at the edge of the river. On the other side of the river is Mexico. On the other side of the river, we have been listening to and seeing cartel members, human traffickers, right on the other side of the river, waving flashlights, yelling and taunting Americans, taunting the Border Patrol, because they know that under the current policy of the Biden administration, they can flood over here. They're getting paid $4,000 or $5,000 a person to smuggle them into this country. And our policies, when they smuggle them in, the Biden administration releases them, and more and more and more. Last month, 100,000 people came across the border illegally. We've got 15,000 kids in federal government custody. This is a humanitarian.
And so what I really don't get, if somebody, and actually I believe that the number is much higher, much higher to come across the border with a coyote. I think the number is probably $10,000. As a guy that has a immigrant wife, how much money did it cost my wife to come over here? Less than $10,000. So, and 93% of people that come over here for amnesty don't get accepted because they just don't fit the criteria. So $10,000, if you got $10,000 to give a coyote to bring your kid or so on and so forth, maybe you could have got over here legally, but that's a whole nother point, I guess. Me personally, I don't get it. I don't get it because we already have a policy to get people over here. And you know what? I'm not saying it was an easy process to get my wife here. I'm not saying it was because you had to go to doctors and get vetted. That's a whole new thing because now we have people that are coming over here unvetted and, you know, we're taking care of the coronavirus. The numbers are way down, but now we have super spreaders that aren't being tested. They are not being tested at the border. Now, to fly into the country, you have to be tested. So if you're flying in from a foreign country, you have to be tested. But if you want to wander across the border, no test until they get to these holding facilities, and then they test them. Ted Cruz, in another video that we'll get to in a second, goes on to talk about, you know, he's there. He sees the kids in cages. You know what's amazing to me? We talked about the lady that went off on me, and I recorded the conversation. And they don't believe that kids are being held in cages by Biden, which is crazy in itself because these kids are being held in cages. And you know what? Kudos going out to Henry Cuellar. Henry Cuellar is a guy that, congressman from the state of Texas. Henry Cuellar went down to the border and took pictures himself. He is a Democrat that did this. What does he have to lose? Except that immigration is his passion. And, he did the same thing when Obama was president. And so Henry Cuellar has nothing to gain by shaming his political party. Zero to gain. But he went down to the border and showed the whole thing. And why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't he? If you are passionate about immigration, I would think that you would want to show exactly what's going on. I would think that you would, it's your job to do that. You know, as a human being, if we see things going on, we definitely should send the message that there's things going on that is not good. Thank you for joining me again, big guy.
Damn internet.
Hey, this is live. So we get what we get. But Ted Cruz gets confronted by one of the Biden workers, and she was very upset that Ted Cruz was videoing because, see, the Biden administration has said no cameras, no phones inside this facility.
Right.
They do not want this to leak out. Like I was talking about Henry Cuellar. They do not want this to leak out because you got a certain amount of liberals that believe, Biden would never put these kids in cages. That was a Trump deal. Oh, really?
Oops.
Huh.
No,
Yeah.
it was an Obama deal. Sorry.
Yeah, it was an Obama and Biden deal. And then Trump, we have to house these kids, and we have to separate them based on age, sex, and all kind of other things. We could probably fix this and, number one, lock down the border again and quit releasing people without hearings. That would work. But number two is quit encouraging people to come over here. So here is Ted Cruz talking to the lady at I think this was in Donna, Texas, at a holding facility in Donna, Texas. Here's what Ted Cruz had to tell her.
Please respect Please give dignity to the people. Please give dignity to the people.
So you work for the commissioner, your senior advisor. You were hired 2 weeks ago, and you're instructed to ask us to not have any pictures taken here.
Please respect the people,
because the political
rules.
leadership at DHS does not want the American people to know it.
Please respect the rules,
You keep
sir.
standing in front of the pictures, so
Please
you don't want the
respect the
pictures
rules.
taken. The rules are arbitrary, and
Please
they're
respect
designed
the
to
rules
keep
and
the
give
American
the
people
people
in the dark.
dignity and respect. That's all we ask.
Well,
Dignity
no, it's
and
not.
respect.
You're asking, is this
Please-
dignity and respect? Look at
Please
these people.
give
There's
dignity
a
and
pandemic.
respect to the people.
Let me
I
ask you, there's a
I
pandemic.
respectfully ask you, sir.
There is a pandemic.
With
Is this respecting the rights of these
full-heartedly,
kids?
I ask you. Please
Are you
respect
respecting the
people.
rights of these
This
kids?
is not a zoo, sir. Please don't treat the people.
You're right, and this is a
as such.
dangerous place.
Please don't treat the
And
people
your
like
policies,
this. That's all I ask
unfortunately,
for you,
are
sir.
trying to hide them. I understand
That's
you
all
were
I ask
instructed
you.
when 18
I
senators
ask you
came
to
down
please
here.
respect the people, give them dignity
I
and
respect them,
respect.
and I want to fix this situation.
We all want
and
to fix
the
it, sir. We
administration
don't
you're
want
working
this to
for is
happen
responsible for these conditions.
Please respect the people with dignity and respect,
And
sir.
I ask you to respect the people as well. This
I am
is not
respecting you.
respect.
I am
This
respecting
is-
the
this
people.
Well, it looks like the kids are still in cages and sleeping on the floor. That's what I saw. But you want to hide this. You want to hide it and not let the American people see it. Okay,
But
I got it.
We're trying to show them respect, but no, the respect. All they're saying is we don't want you to see the disrespect that we're actually showing them.
No. And the other thing, what about respect for our laws? What about respect for our immigration laws? Whatever happened to the respect for our immigration laws? That would work. I think it would be great that if people would just respect our immigration laws. Recently, I had a guy who knows that, I have property in the Philippines and contacted me. In fact, it was yesterday and said, I'm thinking about moving to the Philippines. How is it to buy land and build a house? Said, no can do, bro. No can do. Well, why
Can't
not?
buy
I
land.
said, yeah, like in most countries, you foreigners can't buy land.
Nope.
Now, because I'm married to a Filipino, I can bend the rules a little bit. She can own the land. I can own the property. I can own the house. So that kind of fixes that. But I said most countries, United States is only one of a handful of countries that allows foreigners to own land. So, yeah, sorry to break that to you. Kamala Harris, what a hypocritical biatch. Is that a good word to describe? Yeah. Back
As good as
in
any.
2019, here's what she had to say about the crisis at the border. Oh, you hypocritical son of a gun, because you are now the immigration czar and have done zero to fix the situation. Well, I mean, look, a week has gone by, and, if it was such an emergency, don't you think they would get something done, right, President Harris, as Joe Biden called her? Here's what she had to say in 2019. Hypocrisy.
Detention of these children, the circumstances by which they arrived, is a human rights abuse being committed by the United States government.
Oh.
And so we are here to stand up and say that we are not going to allow this to happen, not on our watch. I will tell you, when elected, the first thing I'm going to do, one of the first things, is to shut down these private detention facilities.
Oh, really?
Shut them down.
You guys actually just built a multiple.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
They just
Yeah.
added a buttload of them to it, didn't they?
Yep. So I love pointing out that you're a hypocrite, and the entire Democratic Party are a bunch of hypocrites when it comes to caging kids, immigration policies, and so on and so forth. And you know what? America is watching. But you know what's sad? The world is also watching. Biden has his numbers, his approval rating numbers on immigration are sinking. Yeah, they are sinking. And, rightfully so, because what exactly have they done? NPR did a poll. Now, NPR, that's not like a conservative slant, right?
No.
No, I don't think so.
That's the opposite.
So
That's the opposite.
Biden's approval rating handling immigration is they're saying 53% say they disapprove of his actions at the border. Independents are the ones that are just torching this guy. So Biden's approval rating is now 53% at his actions at the border. Congratulations going out to the president. We appreciate your efforts, or lack of efforts, right? Is that the way to say it? I think it would
I would
be
say so.
his lack of efforts. Now, we do remember that Joe Biden, during his press conference, his first press conference, which was pretty sad. It was pretty sad. We haven't discussed that on Two Ball Guys on the Right because it was held on a Tuesday. Last Monday we did the show, but he was pretty sad. I mean, he forgot his place, started rambling, and blah, 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 blah. But Biden talks about what would you do to this little boy? And surprising answer, because I think when he gave the answer, they were like, oh, I can't believe he just went there. I can't believe. So here's what Biden had to say about little Juan, who had made the 1,000-mile trek across the border. And here's what he had to say about what we should do with little Juan.
Do you want to see these unaccompanied minors staying in this country, or should they be deported eventually?
Well, the judgment has to be made whether or not. In this young man's case, he has a mom at home. There's an overwhelming reason why he'd be put in a plane and flown back to his mom.
Follow, sir. You mentioned circumstances that must be horrific. The Customs and Border Protection Facility in Donna, Texas, I was there, is at 1,556% capacity right now with mostly unaccompanied minors. There are kids that are sleeping on floors. They are packed into these pods. I've spoken to lawyers who say that some of these children have not seen the sun in days. What's your reaction? What is your reaction to these images that have come out from that particular facility? Is what's happening inside acceptable to you? And when is this going to be fixed?
That's a serious question, right? Is it acceptable to me? Come on.
We'll do something. How about that, Joe? We are going to judge you on what you do or your lack of what you do. And to this point, you haven't done a damn thing.
You made it worse.
Yeah, exactly. You told these people to come over here. You said that we were giving away milk and honey. Everybody came. That's why they're wearing T-shirts that say Biden let us in.
Yep.
Who paid for those damn T-shirts? Make you kind of wonder, huh? I think this is nothing more than political. Nothing more than political. All right, so San Diego teacher. The teachers union is actually helping out. Well, you know, San Diego hasn't been in school in 1 year, but these migrants, well, the teachers are going to, they were scared to go back to the classroom. But now you're going into a immigrant facility that most of these people haven't been tested. We know they haven't been vaccinated. And you're going to risk going into those facilities, but not going into your own classrooms. So they asked the press secretary at the White House what she thought about this. And here is what she said about the San Diego teachers going to teach the migrant kids, but, yeah, haven't been in school for a year to teach your own kids.
Their own public school students, and these kids, of course, about 130,000 of them have been at home doing online learning for about a year now. So what does the White House think about that?
Well, I know you guys have done a fair amount of reporting on this, so maybe you'll have more details. As I understand it, San Diego public schools are opening in early April.
April 12th to hybrid learning.
Okay. And students will be back in the classroom. And as I understand it, this is related part-time. And certainly, you know, our objective from the White House, opening up 5 days a week, majority of schools across the country. And they're on spring break right now. And this is related to volunteering or being paid. I'm not even sure. You'd have to ask the local school district during spring break for these migrant kids.
Yes, so the San Diego County Supervisor, Jim Desmond, he says, you know, I think it's great that there's in-person learning for unaccompanied minors from Central America, but I wish every child in San Diego County was allowed the same opportunity for in-person teaching. So I guess the question is, you know, does the White House think that this sends the right message to these 130,000 kids in San Diego and their parents who've been stuck at home for the last year?
Well,
I think that would be absolute no. And why would we go back and why would we go back and ask San Diego? I mean, are they going to foot the bill for these migrant kids? I don't believe so. I think it would be the federal taxpayer that's going to foot the bill for educating these kids. But it's kind of hypocrisy that they wouldn't go back to school for their own kids, but they'll go back to school for these migrant kids.
finally some reporters asking some decent questions. I mean, I'm so frustrated with these softball questions they keep throwing the Biden administration.
Now, let me ask you this much. Jen Psaki, the White House press secretary, to me, she looks like a cross between Mark Zuckerberg and Raggedy Ann. Am I wrong?
Nah, it's pretty accurate.
Think about it. Put that visual.
Pretty accurate.
All right. That's what I was thinking. George
She looks
Floyd.
like Ronald Weasley's illegitimate sister from Harry Potter. So she looks.
Oh, I don't even know who that is. Of course, I've never watched Harry Potter. So today is day number 2 of the George Floyd case. And somebody told me today, and I'm going to be honest, I've been working. I haven't had time to really watch the why are they televising this anyway? I'm just going to be honest with you. I think this is setting us up for a bad situation to televise this trial.
More riots. All that's going to happen is this guy is not going to get convicted the way they want him to. And if he does get convicted, it's a travesty because it shouldn't meet even the charges that they've added in there. But when they said second-degree murder, that shouldn't be in there.
No, it's impossible to get a second-degree murder. I mean, I don't think, unless this thing is rigged or the jurors are, I don't think that's.
And if it is, it's a travesty if they do convict him of second-degree murder because I don't think it comes anywhere close to that. And if you're following the law, I think it'll get overturned if it does. But regardless, I don't care if they threw the book at him. These people want to riot.
They're going to burn. It's going to burn. The city's going to burn. You know, the crazy thing is that maneuver where he put his knee on, you can call it neck, you can call it head, you can call it back. That maneuver was actually okay in Minneapolis. That maneuver was actually taught. So it's not something that, we've had several listeners that said that police have used that on them and they didn't die. But if you go and look at the autopsy, there is zero proof of blunt force trauma to his head or neck. Am I wrong?
No, there's not any proof of definitive asphyxiation caused by any kind of obstructed airway. The main thing that and they were very ambiguous about it because they didn't want to, because of all the political pressure, but it was pretty clear that the reason the man died was because of how much drugs he had in his system.
A lot of drugs. And if you go back and watch his past arrests, he would act a fool and do the same thing. And, of course, he was high then, too. Yep. He was high then, too. And I beg to ask a question, and God bless his kids. I swear I hope nothing for the best for these kids because kids are innocent.
It's not their fault.
It's not their fault. But it tickles me that the black community has picked this guy to be their martyr. And when I look at him not paying child support and being a drug addict, I'm going, boy, that's a hell of a martyr. But toxicology reports said he had high doses of fentanyl and high doses of opiates, if I'm not mistaken. But, I mean, the limit was way past. Well, I mean,
I think there's legitimate people out there who have gripes, who are using this to catapult their issues to the top of the list. But unfortunately, I don't think that there's no proof that this is racially motivated.
No,
none. There's zero. Show me where Derek Chauvin picked George Floyd because he's black.
No, he broke the law. He was writing white checks.
If it had been a white guy acting the same way,
nobody would say anything.
They would have done the same thing down the road.
Nobody said a damn fool. And the 2 other people that were in the car, the passengers, by the way, they lived to tell a story. You know why? They stood against the wall and didn't act a fool.
Both were black. Both had zero issues.
So Al Sharpton started off Monday with a parade for George Floyd's family. And we know that Al, every event like this, Al is going to be at. Oh, my goodness. I remember Tawana Brawley back in the day when she accused a bunch of white people of raping her, and he was there front and center. And I'm not going to do my impersonation of Al Sharpton because evidently that offends people. You can't even do impersonations down there. I have known Toronto, whatever the hell her name is. But anyway, he did and then this guy, and I don't even know who Benjamin Crump is, but he's an attorney too. Here's what he had to say about the whole addiction and drug use and the whole deal. Here's what he had to say.
They're going to try to say George Floyd had a trace amount of drugs in his system. You let them know that Ben Crump said that George Floyd was living, breathing, walking, and talking just fine until the police put him face down and put him in handcuffs and put a knee on his neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds. So this murder case is not hard when you watch that torture video of George Floyd.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but when I hear Benjamin Crump, I just want to do the Crumpty Crump.
Wow. So
you remember the Humpty Hump?
Trace amounts equals the lethal amounts that the coroner said.
Right. Yeah, the lethal
I'm sorry,
amounts.
buddy. I know you're a lawyer, and I know you're going to spin it to your favor, but there's a big difference between trace and lethal.
Yeah. And here's the deal. They've done multiple toxicology reports. It is what it is.
Yeah.
All right. Looks like the dogs are going back home. They left Delaware, went back to the White House. You remember the first biting incident? Well, guess what? Major was at it again, and Major bit a White House employee. Last time they called it a White House employee. No, they called him a security guard. He was actually a member of Secret Service. Yeah,
I know.
Well, this time,
way to demote him.
Yeah, exactly. A security guard, like he's a mall cop or something. Yeah. But First Lady Jill Biden's press secretary, Michael Del Rosa, confirmed that, yes, the dog nipped at another employee. It was probably a security guard, you know. But
did he nip at them because they were doing something wrong, or did he actually bite them?
He bit them. The employee actually had to seek medical care because of the incident. And let me, if that was my dog and it bit somebody, the protocol is you would put that dog down because they were aggressive and bit a dog. It sounds to me like this dog is aggressive and probably shouldn't be around people. And you know, that's a workers' comp lawsuit waiting to happen.
And if you're the dog owner, you know the dog is temperamental. Why in the hell are you letting it around anybody?
I mean, you're responsible for that dog. And if your dog bites somebody,
plenty of temperamental dogs. Plenty.
Oh, my dog is a little on the opposite side. It's so attached to me that right now it's home with its puppies, and she I guarantee you, I go home, she's going crazy. So she's a little different. She's not nipping or, she does get quite upset, though. You've witnessed it. And she actually talks. She'll be like,
especially if you say the word Biden. She doesn't like that word.
Oh, yeah. She doesn't care for Biden. So we got all these cases of racist stuff going on. I thought it was comical that Maxine Waters claims that the police believe their job is to keep black people in line. Now, would you say the same for black police officers? Is their job to keep, they believe that their job is to keep other blacks? What I've learned, if you don't break the law, the police pretty much leave you alone. They pretty much leave you alone. But, she said that she believes this country has a history that dates back to slavery where we are good about telling people what to do. Wait, this coming from a Democrat that wanted to lock down the entire country and tell us what to do, wanted to have a national mandate and tell us what to do, and the list goes on and on. But Maxine Waters, she'll keep grinding this out until she actually dies. And I hate to say die because, she is close to 80 now. But here's what she had to say about police officers, they believe their job is controlling black people.
I think that this thinking about the need to control, the need to, make sure that people stay in their place, so-called, has been, what has been basically what has happened in America for all of these years. And I think it continues in various ways, sometimes a little bit more sophisticated ways. But the police, I think, really believe, and in some ways are led to believe, that their greatest challenge and their greatest chore is to keep, Black people in their place.
I really don't get that. I mean, most police officers don't give a damn if you're Black, white, Hispanic, or Asian. They don't give a damn. And you know what? Most of them don't want the problems.
I'm glad you made the point about making the comparison between that and COVID, because when you have that comparison in mind and you hear her talk about the need to control and the way the Democrats in all of these major cities and including our state of New Mexico have controlled us to the point where we can't even operate our business, that they have their own police forces, controlling us, telling us we can't do this and we can't do that. We have to shelter in place. We have to stay in our areas, which is another thing she said. It's ironic, and again, just can't illustrate enough the hypocrisy of the left. And I'm sorry, but I don't believe. Yes, are there racists out there? Absolutely.
Sure.
Maxine Waters. I think Maxine Waters may be a racist.
I think she is. I think she is.
To white cops.
By the way, Biden came out today, and I didn't include that, but I'll talk about it. Biden came out today and said he's encouraging governors and mayors and business owners to mass mandate, make sure that everybody is wearing a mask. So he can't do it on the federal level, but he's encouraging governors and business owners to mandate that people have to wear a mask to go into their businesses or in the cities and so on and so forth.
Yeah, DeSantis and Abbott are really listening to that, aren't they?
Hell no. You know what? And those two states are thriving, where states like New Mexico, where we live in, are dying on the vine. If it wouldn't be for this federal money that we pimped ourselves for, we would be in terrible shape. Another story, and a lot of people go, well, when will this stop? I'm going to tell you when it stops. It's pretty much the same thing with this immigration problem. It stops when we put our foot down. It stops when we say, shut up already. We're done with this. We're not putting up with it. So a dog's name is now offending people. A dog's name. Social justice activist, member of Black Lives Matter, claims that a police canine nickname is hurting people in the community.
What?
So the dog's name is Kim, and they call the dog Little Kim. And because of the rapper, show our picture, Will. Little Kim. Yeah, people are hurt because they named the dog Kim and they call it Little Kim.
People name their dogs after celebrities all the time.
Yeah. Now this is going on in Bend, Oregon, and the police chief in Bend, his name is Mike Krantz, said the canine will only be named now Kim and not Little Kim moving forward, after he met with the Black Lives Matter activist Ricardo Waits, founder of the Central Oregon Black Lives Matter Assembly, and claimed that the dog's nickname is actually hurting people. Now, how would the dog be hurting people by naming the dog Little Kim?
And how many people actually know that until this story? I'm serious.
I mean, I just want to know how the name Little Kim would, Little Kim, the rapper, is known for being aggressive. I just don't,
We're not wearing much clothes.
No, not wearing much clothes, but we keep bending. And I'm not making fun of Bend, Oregon, but we keep bending and bending and bending. And we keep giving and giving and giving. And some people want to know when it's going to stop. When's it going to be enough? It will never be enough until we put our foot down and say, shut up. Are you kidding me? It's the dog's damn name.
Or these woke crowd. And it's happening occasionally in different places where they're actually getting a piece of their own pie. They're getting to taste their own medicine. it's happening occasionally where they're getting canceled themselves. But until the woke crowd gets canceled on a level that they've canceled others, they're just going to keep doing it.
But we need this police chief is spineless for caving to this. He should have said, this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life. And shut up and exit. Close the door on the way out of my office. See, this is why I'm not in politics. Get the hell out of my office. When you have a real concern, bring a real concern. Why are you keeping me busy with this junk? But that's why I'm not in politics.
The nickname of our police dog is offending people.
Yeah, it's offending people. So I guess
I'm
if
with you.
you'd have
Get the
named
hell
him,
out of here.
Yeah, get out of here. I guess if you'd have named him Jose Cuervo, some people would have been, upset because of the hangover they got. I don't know. I watched this video, and then I went back to find the video and couldn't find it. But video footage captured of a man identified as a Trump supporter. Of course, it's always a Trump supporter. Pulling a gun on rock-throwing Antifa rioters who vandalized his truck and maced him. And so authorities arrested a man, which several news outlets reported was a Trump supporter. Wait, let me get this right. So they assault this man, they destroy his property, and he gets arrested for pulling a gun? Hey,
and he's not allowed to defend himself? What state was this in?
Oregon, Salem, Oregon.
Yeah, of course it was.
There's a big parade happening on Sunday. It's called a Freedom Rally. And these Antifa clowns were out there beating people's cars and threatening to beat people, macing people, and so on and so forth.
I'm sorry, if I'm going to jail after someone assaults me, I'm going to jail because I put a cap in someone's butt.
I tell you what, I'm going to jail, and I'm going to wear that with a badge of honor, and then I'm going to sue the crap out of you because why didn't you, I don't know, take these clowns to jail with me?
For assaulting me and for damaging my property. And all I did was point a gun at them to stop them from doing what they're doing. I'm sorry, it's called self-defense.
And wait a second. They had hammers. They had hammers and sticks. Not sticks, but like axe handles and stuff. So wait a second. That's a weapon. That's a weapon. I have the right to protect myself. Tell you what, this country is going to hell in a handbasket when a man is assaulted and can't protect himself. Wow. Just wow. Craziness in America. I don't know where we're going from this, but God bless. My goal is, and, we got good immigrants, we got bad immigrants that come into this country. If you have $10,000 to pay the coyotes, you could probably try to get in on your own.
Oh, illegally. Yeah, you can be here legally and do it the right way if you have 10 grand. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And none of this makes sense. The only people making money are the coyotes. In the meantime, the American taxpayers are getting stuck with the bill. And this is why, come real soon, I'm retiring and take that tax dollars and give it back to the American people. Give it back to the veterans that are living on the street. Give them a place to stay. Take care of our homeless children, 14 million homeless children. Take care of our seniors. Instead, we take care of foreign countries. Mexico is asking us for universal income to pay for people. That way we would entice them not to come here. What kind of BS is that?
I'm sorry. So why is it America's problem to support your country's people? It's your country.
America, it's time for us to stand up and say, I'm tired of this craziness. If you're not registered to vote, I encourage you to get out there and register to vote and vote Republican. And you know what? If we have bad leadership in the Republican Party, fire their butt. But we need to remember this last election and what's going on in our country today. That's all I got. Well, I'm out of breath. I'm tired. Just discussing this stuff makes me super sad. I'm going to have to go home and just sit on the couch for a little while because it's sad. It really is.
It is sad. Don't forget, we're streaming podcast live audio versions at Spotify, Podbean, iTunes, Amazon, wherever you download and listen to podcasts. You can catch us there, and of course, right here on YouTube. And don't forget to our morning show podcast. We do 3 hours each and every morning, Monday through Friday. Be in the Breakfast Club on YouTube if you'd subscribe to that, and please do follow, and subscribe our page.
Plenty of viewership on the morning show, but subscribers are not. So hey, go subscribe right now to both of them if you would. It would really help us out. Me and Will are trying to make a little extra money on the side grind, and it's not working out that great.
If we have to get this thing sponsored, and actually get sponsors, then we will. But I'd rather not talk about ads. I'd rather talk about what's going on.
Yeah,
and
most definitely.
We can do that. We don't have to get it sponsored if you just hit the subscribe button.
So please go subscribe and tell your friends about Two Bald Guys on the Right. Hey, if you have to beg your friends to go subscribe to the channel, I'm good with that. I am good with that. You beg. And if you've got a bunch of married people out there, you're probably used to begging, so don't worry about it. God bless you guys.
Thank you guys so much. We'll talk to you again on Thursday for the New Mexico edition.